Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and comment on the videos. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, let's go. NFL Fantasy DFS, and we're going to talk quarterbacks, the top plays, some low owned. So anyway, welcome to my channel, Billy Ho Sports. Appreciate you watching. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button there, right there, the big red one. You all know what it looks like. And if you've already subscribed and you're one of the regular viewers, thanks for tuning in. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Seriously, it means a lot. And anyway, it's totally free to subscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime. I've said that before. So we're on to the main slate, week 4. Remember, this is the first London game. So just for season-long players, and I like 99% of you wouldn't already know, but you better have those Vikings and Saint players figured out by 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So this week we got 12 games, and stick around, watch the video. It's not that long, but toward the end of the video, I will have a low-priced, low-owned quarterback that I guarantee you nobody's playing. So that's a good thing. How many points will they be estimated to score? And that's a good barometer on which games quarterbacks are going to be. The highest total games are going to be the ones that quarterbacks are going to be looking at. So let's take a look at the big board. All right. And we all know who's going to lead off the talking points this week. It's Buffalo at Baltimore, the two top quarterbacks, obviously, and a high scoring game. 54, I think, was the total last time I looked. There might be some rain. Keep an eye on the weather. They may see rain in Baltimore, so that may muddy it up a little bit. But if you want to pay up for these guys, I'm good with it. If you want to fade them, I'm also good with it. Because when you see games like this and you're like, oh, it's a smash spot, Lamar's been rolling, Josh Allen's been rolling, and these two teams hook up, and it ends up being 17-14 or something, and then it's a complete bust of a game. So if you want to fade the masses, you could fade this game entirely, or maybe just one off it. And I'll get to that in my tight ends video. So Josh Allen obviously just had his third straight 30-plus DK week in the loss at Miami. And I told you in the last video on the QB stacks that he threw 63 times to get there. He's not doing that again. He's not throwing 63 times. Baltimore they run a lot of plays. They run the ball a lot. They got Dobbins back, which is he's going to be his second week. So they'll probably give him a little bit more work. And they're pretty methodical, but it could be an uptick game. But this one I hesitate on because on paper it looks just too damn good to be true. Now, of course, Lamar did his thing. Obviously, there's really no reason to harp on what they did in the first 3 weeks of the season because we all know, and that's why they're priced so high. And so, and you obviously got the run backs in both games with your Diggs and your Andrews, and and Bateman's and McKenzie's and Davis's and all that good stuff. So that's pretty good. Now, down here we're looking more toward. Let's see. That's dumb. Lamar Bateman. Next guy up would be Jalen Hurts, who's been just absolutely phenomenal. $8,200 price tag, and that's a pretty significant bump. 76, yeah, that's a decent bump. But I mean, he's scoring, he's dropping just as well as the other two guys ahead of him. But they are, that's why they're so close in price. And Jalen Hurts, I think, has shown the ability to get two pass catchers there. So you got your Devontae Smith. You basically got three guys. You got Devontae Smith, you got AJ Brown, and you've got Dallas Goedert. Those are your three main pass catchers. And then you can throw in Quez Watkins as a punt, who all he needs is one bomb, like he did on that previous game. So he's a guy you maybe take a punt on or something like that if you don't have the salary. But Jalen Hurts obviously a play at home against Jacksonville, who's a formidable opponent. I mean, it's not like their defense is trash. I mean, they just went to traveled out west of San Diego or Los Angeles and pounded the Chargers into submission. So I like that game, and actually the quarterback. It's funny because I think I might like just as much or close to it is Trevor Lawrence. I think they're letting him loose, and I think the Doug Peterson coached team is doing what Jalen Hurts is kind of doing now without the running, obviously. But I could see him throwing another 40 times in a potential shootout. And the only reason I'm hopping around on this down to 5,700 is because it's the same game. And I figured I needed to talk about it because you've got Christian Kirk, you got Zay Jones, you got Marvin Jones, and then you got on the other side, you can do any run back you want with Brown, Smith, or Goddard. But if you want to go play Jalen Hurts and do Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, or Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, you can obviously run it back with J. Rob at running back, James Robinson, or you can run it back with Kirk. So that's a good game. It's got a pretty high total, and it won't. It's not like it won't go unnoticed. So keep an eye on that. Now I'm getting into some interesting stuff. Is this the week, if you want to get contrarian, to take a Russell Wilson stack? Because people have pretty much, from what I gather, they're saying this defense or this Denver team's offense is just trash and the coaching sucks and he's not being efficient. He's not running and blah, blah, blah. And now you've got him going to the Dome in Las Vegas. So if you really want to get jiggy with it, run over here and highlight this game. And you just plug in Sutton and Judy. Now, you got plenty of guys to run them back with on the other side. If you don't want to play the pay way up thing, then you can obviously, take Darren Waller. Or what you could do in this game, if you wanted to do, like I said, the one-off Mark Andrews at tight end, and then you can go back up here, highlight this. Bear with me, folks. I'm getting there. Then you can plug in Waller in your flex. See what I did there? Then you got exposure to that massive Buffalo-Baltimore game at tight end, and then you got in the flex position, you got another high volume guy in Darren Waller, which he only saw 5 targets in the Tennessee game, but he can see upwards of 8. Renfro out again. We'll see. He's due. I mean, all he needs is one of these 6 for 8, 17-point games. because he's only 5,600. It's not like you're paying, premium salary for him. So you got those two, and then you got your run back with Waller. If you don't want to do Waller, you obviously got this dude, Mike Collins. He's only got bumped up to 4,200. And I think even if Renfro's back, I believe he is still going to get more targets than Renfro. He has moved up the food chain, in my opinion. He might even just be second to Devontae Adams for all we know. We don't know. So 4,200 is worth the risk. I take that all day. Now you have plenty of salary when you pay down for defense, and then you can maybe get a cheap running back, whatever. But that's a nice stack there. So that's the Russ Wilson. We already talked about Russ, actually. Did we not? My apologies. I think I got twisted up. Anyway, the next guy up, and this is we're starting to get a little bit dicey here, but I feel like I need to mention Carson Wentz. Even though he flopped last week, he still has that potential to get you 3 or 4 touchdowns and 30 points. And they're going to be chasing at Dallas, most likely. I'm not going to say that for sure. But if they're not chasing, it's because he's throwing touchdown passes in the first half. Because I don't feel the running game is going to do much damage against this Dallas front, because that is one of their strong suits. I thought they did a pretty good job on Barkley, and that's Saquon Barkley. So keep an eye on that. But we're going to highlight this Washington-Dallas game. And 6K Wentz is still, people will probably look at that and be like, no, thanks. But you know what? You still got Terry McLaurin, you still got Curtis Samuel, and you still got Dotson. So you got 3 different guys, and you got a tight end in Logan Thomas you could toss in there as well. So you got plenty of options. And then you got running backs. And I'm not feeling Gibson. Actually, I wouldn't mind McKissick. I mentioned him in my running backs video. If he's going to get those kind of targets out of the backfield, and with Micah Parsons and that pass rush coming at Wentz, he's going to be dumping off. I think McKissick gets more love this week. So you could honestly pay down at running back and take McKissick and then pair him with a cheaper. I just really want Terry McLaurin to get there, but he's so close. He's actually a solid floor, and he's down to 6,500. So yeah, I'm going with that. So I would go McLaurin and probably Samuel. I know that sucks up a lot of your wide receiver equity, but it's probably going to be worth it, because I don't think either one of them, Curtis Samuel, just target monster. They both got safe floors, in my opinion. And I think they'll be able to have enough opportunities to pay off. So keep an eye on that one. The next one up is an iffy one. And I say this because I'm bringing it up, because if everyone were healthy, it would be one of my favorite games. But Jared Goff, first off, for Detroit, you know what he's been doing. He's just chucking it 40 times a game almost. And he's got the potential for 26, or he could bounce to 14. And the reason he bounces down to 14 is if DeAndre Swift is out, because then they're just going to be ground and pound with Jamal Williams, and the shoulder and the ankle isn't practicing. And there was a rumor going around that DeAndre Swift would be in line for some time off. But, I mean, their bye week is not till week 6. So they're talking about giving him this week and next week. just to get to the extra bye week, I mean, I don't feel like his injuries are that significant. So he may play this week and then be like the same. Look, I mean, he's only gotten 12 carries in the last 2 games. He's been, I mean, if he hadn't have scored here, I don't know what to think of that. So, Jamal Williams, if he is out, Jamal Williams obviously becomes a play, and he can catch passes out of the backfield, but I would not pair him with Goff. He would be my run back the other way. If by chance you wanted to do a mini stack game, you could play some guys from the Seattle side, but who I would play is Penny at 4,900 because the Detroit defense is not that stout against the run, but they are pretty good against the pass, and they can lock down one of these receivers. So keep that in mind. Now, if ASB is good to go, Goff would be in play for me. But ASB is out, I'm out. But if you want other one-offs, you got Chark at a good price, and you've got Reynolds. And they all got Q tags. I don't know what's going on with this game. We're definitely going to have to find out Sunday morning, and it's a good thing it's a 1:00 game. So there can be some dancing done as soon as the inactives come out. So keep this game starred and keep this game starred for weather because it says rain. And you know that hurricane is coming around. I don't know if it makes its way up the coast in that amount of time, but it is just Thursday and it's crossing Florida and it's going to get out to the Atlantic and it's going to bounce out, pick up steam, and roll right back in toward the Carolinas. So I really wonder about this Carolina Panthers game that's at 425 at Carolina. You can see it's calling for rain. So keep an eye on the weather because this hurricane is definitely going to affect somebody somewhere. Now, the Sunday night game, Tampa Bay, and they're probably moving to Minneapolis, Minnesota for that game. So I like that for all parties involved, especially Kansas City back in the dome. I feel good about Travis Kelce in that game in my season long. So now, if you stuck around, I'm going to give you the pay down, sucker. So you're like, okay, what are you talking about, Billy Ho? Are you cray cray? That's a stupid word. I shouldn't say that. Cray cray. In a good way. That's a Cleveland Brown. All right, Davis Mills, 5K. Say you ain't gonna play some Davis Mills. Looked god awful looked all right here. Threw it 37 times, 240, 2 touchdowns at home. Key phrase there, at home. He doesn't run the ball, so that hurts. But 16 points, that's 3x for a 5K guy. And the last two, I mean, at Denver, just juggernaut type of defense can shut down receivers. Patrick Surtain, they don't give it up. At Chicago, Windy City, it was windy, affected the ball. He had a pass tipped at the line of scrimmage that caused this second interception and cost them the game. So he still threw for 245 and a tug. I mean, he was still almost there. But now he's back at home against this Los Angeles Chargers team who lost Joey Bosa and who may not have J.C. Jackson back. They are kind of reeling after they got their head caved in at home last week against Jacksonville. So this might be a good bounce back spot for your Houston Texans. And then obviously, if you play Davis Mills, I mean, Cooks down to 5,800 is gravy. I mean, Brandon Cooks, he's the indoor home team kind of guy. He got 10 targets. He didn't do very well at Denver, but that's tough sledding. And in the wind, he got 7 targets, but they just couldn't connect. So a couple off weeks have gotten people off of him, and he's dropped down to 5,800. So I like that. And if you want to get crazy, Nico Collins would be everybody's logical second man in, and he is, 9 targets week 2. He's got not a terrible floor for 4K. I mean, he can 2X without much of a problem, I think, and he should get the targets. He's got more snaps, but Chris Moore is the next guy in line, and he getting a few targets, 63 yard, 52 yarder, 21 average. He is a downfield threat, y'all. One catch and he's gravy train. He's 500 cheaper, 3,500. There's your second guy in. And then obviously you can run it back, who I think is due for a good game. Damian Pierce would be if you played the other side, but Eckler at 7,700. There you go. And that's a good cheap stack. And I think everybody has a chance to get theirs. So take that and thank me later. Or not. Well, that'll do it for the quarterbacks video. Stay tuned. The next video coming out today will be tight ends. And thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you want. Like the video. And till next time, we'll see you soon. Take care.